Well, hello everyone, and welcome to my studio. Today we're going to do a very cute little painting of a mouse peeking out of a mouse hole. So my students are all in class now, and well, let's just join them. So I'm going to go over the mouse and the things that are the most important so that when you're painting, you will know what I want you to stay clear of and what I want you to pay attention to. So this little guy, the focal point is his eyes and his nose, okay? And he's very nicely framed in the black of the hole, okay? And we have our nice background it's very minimal. There's a bit of a shadow here, but the background is very minimal. And that just adds texture and interest to the painting, but it doesn't take your focus away from the cute little eyes and nose and the tiny little feet and those absolutely adorable ears. So we're going to do wet in wet. So that's when the paper is wet, and then we add, nice juicy paint to it. So this wet and wet's going to happen up here in the ears where it's white. That is the white of the paper. Okay, so we're leaving the white of the paper there, and the white of the paper under his cheeks, under his chin, right around here. So we're going to try very hard not to paint in there. So that's called negative painting. You'll be painting around the edge, but the edges will not be crispy clear, right? They will be a bit blurry. Right in here is very around the mouth here. This is pretty tricky to keep that white. So that's why I asked for Chinese white. Make sure that your Chinese white is like wet, so that when we get to that part, we're going to be able to load up our rigger with some white, and hopefully it'll be thick enough to fix any problems you have around the mouth and also in the eyes, just in case something happens to the eyes. That reflection in the eyes, that's super important, okay? See the little gloss here in the eyes? So that gives it a sense of reality, and that's all done just by you paint it black and then you come back in with a brush similar to this one. But you could use a flat brush. It generally has to be a brush that has that's not too soft, okay? If that doesn't work, then we could try something else, maybe a Q-tip. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Okay, so we're to get this fur feel to his face is layers and layers, and it's a lot of dry. We're going to do a lot of dry brush work. So we'll be painting on dry paper. Right in here, these little bits of hair, that's dry with a rigger. And then those little feet there, by the way, they have 4 toes apparently. but don't tell anybody. And also their ears are like satellite dishes, apparently. They go all over the place. They roll around, and they have nice big eyes so that they can see everything around them. But they usually use their senses, so their whiskers and other senses to navigate their environment. All right, let's start painting. A round brush, 12. And this one's a round brush, sort of a medium, so mine's an 8. Yours could be anything.
7?
7's good. And a round brush, 0. Okay. My rigger.
Yes.
Yes. my bigger rigger, not my little rigger. So you don't get lost. Like, I actually put in BL where it was black, where it's supposed to be black. I put BL and BR very lightly, and W here very lightly for white. I mapped it all out. So we're gonna start with the ears, and the cute little ears. That pink is made with alizarin crimson.
To wet the ears?
Well,
The dark
we're gonna
parts?
take our paint out first, but we will wet the ears, yeah.
Only the
So-
dark parts, not the white.
So alizarin crimson, get some of that out, and we're gonna go tea consistency. So we got alizarin crimson and that dark brown, so burnt umber, raw umber. And I would put it beside the red, and then we will be mixing as we go along. So we're going to need different values of that color. So this one's like a darker value right around this part of the ear, and then goes lighter as it goes into the center of the ear. So darker to lighter. All right. That's alizarin crimson and burnt umber. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wet around the outside of the ear and where I want the color to go. I'm staying far away from the white, okay? Trying to avoid that as much as possible.
Is this just wet, right?
Just wetting. And then I'm going to dip into this. This is a tea consistency we're starting with. So I'm mixing a little bit of the pink and the brown. And I'm taking out a little swatch here to check my color. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so now I'm going to start where I want it the darkest. And bring it up and around. And as I'm doing that, the colors are, the paint, hopefully, is just blending in where I wet it earlier. I'm going to add a little bit more pink in this, or red, alizarin crimson. Make it a little bit pinkier in some areas. Okay, and I'm starting to get a hard line here. See that? Right, I don't want that. So I'm going to take a smaller brush, just clear water, and I'm going to run my brush along that edge. I keep cleaning it, and I'm sort of lifting some of the paint off there. And that should do it. So now with that same pink, we're going to work on put all the pinks in. So that's the nose, a little bit of the mouth, and the little paws there.
Are we doing wet on wet? Or
They're so small that I think you can just do dry on dry paper. Okay, mouse E4. Good. Okay, so now we are going to work on the background, but we're just going to go T, okay? It's just so that you don't get lost. At least you hope. I hope you won't get lost. If we place it in the right place, maybe we won't get lost. Okay, so we're just going black T. So it's going to end up looking gray. So once I have my black in, I'll put some brown, so I'll just use brown, the Umber.
Everyone else is.
Raw Umber.
She's just whizzing through it.
I'm whizzing through. Okay, so now we're going to work on the brown of his face. So we're going to start off with some yellow ochre. So it's going to be T, and you're going to hardly know that it's there, okay? So we wet it first. And we already have our yellow ochre out and ready. So, wetting, wetting, wetting. Okay, and we're gonna do some negative painting, so stay away from the white there under the chin and under the cheeks. Don't put any water there. You want to keep that white. Okay, so yellow ochre. Now while it's still wet, we're gonna go, let's see. I have to check things out first before I lead you astray.
Okay. And then we just.
Then lead us astray. Lead you astray.
Yeah.
Okay, so burnt sienna is pretty orangey. I don't think I want orange. So we're gonna go raw umber. And I'm going to start putting in the, I'm starting to form, I'll start forming the face. So I'll put some brown around here, darker brown here.
This tea?
This is T. And the nose, and now it's starting to look like a raccoon. Okay. And around here, so I would like you to look up at my mouse that's already done and use that to guide you. If you should be looking up as much as you're looking at your paper, or even looking up more than at your paper. Sometimes we're very tempted to just paint what we think a mouse should look like, and then, or anything. We just paint what we think it looks like, and then we look up and when we go like, oh, too late.
Yeah. Ruh-roh.
Ruh-roh is right.
Oh.
So, one layer.
That's burnt. That's the dark one.
That's the burnt umber.
Very dark.
Very dark, but mine's tea, so it's not that dark. I'm gonna add a little bit, some more here on the sides and under the cheeks and around the nose where it's a little bit darker. It's quite wet. Paper's quite wet right now, so I can do it. But if it's not wet, then you're gonna end up with hard. Coffee, there's cream, I'm going cream. Okay, and I'm painting in, we're going dark and we're going fast because we're running out of time.
Oh, dark on the whole area again?
On the black,
Where is the
but
back
all,
and the brown?
everywhere where we're gonna paint now, we should be going
And this is on wet? Wet on dry?
on dry.
Wet on dry.
Okay, and so I'm leaving little bits of lighter and darker in the black. So the black has blue, ultramarine blue in it, and some of it's darker and some of it's lighter. And I'm trying to make some negative painting here to make fur, which is pretty tricky to do, but we can do it. Okay, I'm using my rigger to do that. Okay. All right, so lighter and darker in places. Okay. And in that black, I'm just going to drop a little bit of the red in there. Alizarin crimson. Here and there.
Heather and yawn.
Heather and yawn. Just to give it a little bit of interest. Okay, now I'm going to go to the eyeballs, and mine need dark to be dark. Some of you don't. Okay. Uh-oh.
Yeah, it always writes when pausing. I can't get it all.
Yeah, better use my rigger. Need a fine brush for the eyes here. Okay, here we go. We're working on the face. So we're going to use the burnt umber. And if I want the burnt umber to go a little darker, I would add ultramarine blue to it. So I'm going to take ultramarine blue out, put it over here.
My one eye's bigger than the other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah?
It is what it is.
The left eye's bigger than the other one.
Okay.
Not every person has symmetrical eyeballs, so
Most of us
neither do
don't
the
have.
mice. You know what I'm saying.
Okay, so I got my ultramarine blue out, and I've got some of the burnt umber out.
Oh, is this for background?
Okay, no, this is for his face. We're gonna wet his face,
Oh.
and then we're gonna start forming it. So you have to, while you're doing this, you have to look at the original here a lot to get to understand where the dark parts are and where the light parts are. Okay.
All right, can you
So-
review the colors you're using first, please?
Okay, so we're using
Crazy.
raw umber, and ultramarine blue. The ultramarine blue is to darken the raw umber. Okay. All right, and we have to wet Mousy first. Not soaking wet, clear water. So I'm going to very quickly do this shadow on the wall here. So the less fussy I am about it, the better it is. And you know what? I should have done it before I put all these
Before we did
cracks
the
on.
Cracks, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
The cracks are now in the way.
okay, so, you know, don't you just love it when I make mistakes?
Oh, it's okay.
You all feel much better.
It's all about the
So
learning.
shadow on the walls, but you can't show it on the picture.
I will in a minute.
Oh,
Watch
okay.
this. Okay, here I am. Okay, so French Ultramarine.
Sorry?
French Ultramarine.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And Alizarin Crimson. Okay. And we'll stay more towards the blue side. Okay. I've wet it already, and I want to keep this very pale. Very, very pale. Well, I don't think I use French Ultramarine. I think I use Cobalt Blue. Sorry. It doesn't matter. There we go. And then,
Oh, we didn't get it here on the phone. Okay.
with your rigger, where's my rigger? Where's my rigger? Okay, with my rigger, I'm going to clean it, and I'm going to take some Cobalt Blue, and my Cobalt Blue is like really, really wet here. So I'm going to really load my brush up, my rigger, and I'm going to go in between the little toes there and make shadows. Some of you already have shadows, so you don't have to worry about it. And if it just goes all watery, I don't care. Just going to let it go watery. And I'm going to take some of that cobalt and continue with my shadows on the mouse paws. A little bit more shadow on there. Fine. Okay. I'm going to work a bit more on my browns in his face and try to fix his nose. Honestly, I don't know what I did here. But I'll just keep messing around with it until I get what I want. For a little bit more. So a little bit of the dark burnt umber and burnt sienna. And put a few more flecks in here. Oops. Flecks. Oh boy, that's too big. I'm going to try that again. Some flecks with my rigger. Okay.
Whiskers. Where should I put it? Should I put it in the driveway?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, thank you.
Hey.
This time. Since you're leaving in 20 minutes. No, less than that.
Oh,
It's
stuff.
already 3 o'clock.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah, I think they've got the whiskers coming from the wrong place. So, did you do whiskers yet on?
No, I haven't done whiskers yet because I can't figure out his
I
nose.
gotta fix my
Oh,
face
I know
before I
this
can
one.
do whiskers.
So, what do you have?
So you know how you did the cracks?
Yeah.
Whiskers is the same way.
So, what do you have? Rigger and dark brown.
Okay. I need to finish this mouse. His nose is really sad looking. And I want to work around these eyes and make them, these eyes actually, make them more realistic looking. I need to work up in here a little bit, up around the ears, and make the little paws lighter and fix the mouth here. So let's get go. Raw umber and pink and alizarin crimson, alizarin crimson to make a dusty pink. I'm gonna wet the ear a little bit with some clean water. And just add a little bit of darkness here. And maybe up in here. And blend it. Yeah. And I'll do the same over here, so I'll wet the other ear. I think it's a bit too wet. I'll do this. And add that same color of burnt raw umber or burnt umber with alizarin crimson. A little bit more up here. So I'm getting that disc sort of effect for his ears. The ears. Fix this part up right here. There's a little bit here too. It's kind of like a bit of the back of the ear. Yeah. And no, I can't do it. Okay, so what else do I need to do? Darken the little paws. So I'm just wetting them. I want them soaking wet. Okay, and adding a little bit of alizarin crimson to them to get them a little darker. And I'll just leave them and come back to them later. Let's get that mousy mouth in there. That's alizarin crimson. I'm just putting a little line of alizarin crimson here. There. And oh my gosh, I'm not sure what to do with this nose. So you're just going to see me trying to figure it out. I don't know. I think I have to lift some color off. So I've got a damp brush and I'm just lifting some color here. And the mousie's little nose should be a triangle. Where's my pen? So, okay. So it should be a triangle going like this and like this. I don't think you can see that, but that's basically what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try and do that. I don't know if it's going to work or not. Now for the grand finale. So we're going to put whiskers on them. So we're going to go into black, and we're going to use a buttery consistency. I'm going to practice it over here. Make sure it's good. No, it's not good. That'll do it. Okay. So now I'm going to put a few little whiskers with my rigger. And turn the page a little bit, or the watercolor pad, and put a few more whiskers. One more whisker here. And that finishes it, except for one little thing, and that would be signature. I hope you enjoyed our video as much as we did. We had a few laughs in the class. We'll see you again soon.